You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 341, when you've tried everything to get over your ex and nothing has worked. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. How is everyone doing? I love you so much. You're so important to me. I'm so grateful to be here with you today along your breakup journey, wherever you are. So today I wanted to talk about something that's really near and dear to my heart because it's an experience that I've lived. So I spent a year and a half trying to get over my ex. I also spent $47,000 trying to figure out the solution to this. So I've invested time, money, energy, effort, all of it, which we'll talk about some of that other stuff later. I've also already spoken about it in multiple episodes before, but I really want to talk about doing all of the things, trying all of the things. I was in a relationship for 7 years with this man that I truly thought I would marry. And he left me to be with someone else. Dumb, right? So dumb. Hate that for me. And honestly, she was so cool, you guys. She could French braid her hair. She was skinny. She was a gymnast of sorts or something. She could do handstands in all of her Instagram photos on these really cool things. She was so cool. And she was the kind of girl that you wanted to be. You know what I mean? I think in a different life we'd be friends. But I remember hearing that it took half the amount of time that you were with someone to get over them, which meant, it would take me 3.5 years. If I was with him for 7 years, that's 3.5 years. What? I was like, clearly that can't be true, right? Because it took him 3 days to get over me, which we could argue whether or not he was actually over me when he moved on, but oh well, it's a different conversation. But 3.5 years, come on. And I remember Googling how to get over your ex, how to forgive and let go, how to move on when your ex moved on quickly. And I did everything that it offered. We didn't have ChatGPT at the time. AI was not a thing. And the most reported advice was, wait for time to heal and time heals all wounds, go no contact. Ugh, all of these answers that just didn't love. But I did do it all. I gave it time. I journaled. I meditated. I got in the best shape of my life. I had abs for the first time ever. It was so cool. And honestly, the only time I haven't had abs since then. I got into my own hobbies. I started modeling. I was killing it. From the outside, I looked so good. I was in therapy. I was staying busy. I made all of those lists, right? All the reasons he wasn't for me, all the undesirable traits that he had, all the reasons I didn't want to be with him. I even started dating. And in all honesty, this is probably one of the most embarrassing parts for me is that I was already in a new relationship at that point, but I was the worst girlfriend because I was constantly comparing this new partner to my ex. I hadn't healed my jealousy stuff. So he had never done anything that warranted the level of jealousy that I had. But being left for another girl really made me feel like I clearly missed something in the last relationship. He had moved on before we were probably done. And so that poor man had to deal with so much. I feel awful for how I showed up in that relationship. And he honestly was, and I'm sure still is, just an amazing man. He was so patient. And whoever ends up with him is lucky. But do not ask him about me and my craziness because I was a crazy. But he was the most patient person on the planet and he deserves the world. But long story short, I was already dating. And so I'd already done the thing of I feel like I'd done everything to get over this man. So I did all the things. And yet a year and a half later, I found myself still not over him. I was still angry and resentful about the situation, wanting to call the breakup police to write a ticket for all the wrongdoing that he did. How dare he move on so quickly as if there's these breakup rules, but there are none. I was still making decisions in hopes that he'd notice that I had changed and that I'm worth coming back to. I was still stalking his social media and her social media, right? And this is something I talk about too. I was even blocked on all the social media. So I was looking at Venmo because that was the only thing unblocked. And I was getting to a point where I was really just like worried that this was how the rest of my life was going to go, right? Like I'm just going to spend an entire lifetime, which feels like an eternity, not over this man. Like what? But luckily, I ran into coaching. Luckily, I learned the two things that I think are so important that are all about getting over your ex. And I teach about them here on the podcast, but I really want to consolidate it into one episode of like, this is really the turning point for when you've been trying everything and you still haven't gotten over someone. It's these two things, okay? The first turning point for me was truly learning that thoughts create feelings, not time. It's still mind-blowing to me every time I say it. If your thoughts never change, the way you think about yourself, about your life, about your past, it doesn't matter how much time goes by, your feelings will not change either. So what you make your breakup mean about you and your future matters. Those thoughts are optional. The shit that you're saying in your brain and listing off as if it's facts, those are optional beliefs that you're choosing to believe. And it matters. It matters because the way you think about you and your future because of your breakup will determine how you feel about it, and then how you show up in the world, and then the results that you create in your life. So when you learn the skill set of intentionally choosing what you make your breakup mean about you and your life, you guarantee yourself a bigger and better life than the one that you had with your ex. And it's great. It's great over here, my friends. Please come with me. Please come over here. It's so much better. Okay. And I know that sometimes our thoughts don't feel optional, but they are. We are intentionally choosing, believe it or not, to believe that we are going to be alive tomorrow. Like we make plans for tomorrow. We make plans for a year from now. We make plans for a month from now. And we're actively choosing that. Because to live in the opposite doesn't really serve us. But there's so much truth that we might not be here tomorrow. It's equally as true. We literally have no idea about the future. It's equally as true that we won't be here tomorrow as much as we might be here tomorrow. So we choose to believe the thought that serves us so we don't feel like we're dying every day, right? And so our thoughts are optional. The second thing is reducing desire and attachment. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record. I feel like I say this over and over and over again, and I'm going to continue to say it in all the different ways until it lands for people. But I'm a root cause girly, my friends. You guys know this about me if you've been around the block. I love how-tos, next steps, but all to solve the root problem. I hate solving for symptoms. When I go to the doctor and I'm like, boo, I've got a rash. What do we do? And they hand me a cream without identifying why I have the rash in the first place. I'm like, hold up, doc. Hold up. We're smart. I know you know this, but tell me, what's the reason I have the rash? Where's the rash coming from in the first place? Because I don't want to put this cream on and then stop using the cream and have the rash come up again, right? So the same thing applies when it comes to getting over your ex. Isn't that kind of crazy? I can give you the solution to, do I go no contact or not go no contact? I can give you the solution to how to stop constantly thinking about your ex. I can give you the solution to so many breakup symptoms. And we also need to solve for the reason you're thinking about this person in the first place, for the reason you're worried about having contact or not in the first place. We need to solve the root of the problem, which is desire and attachment. If you didn't have desire for your ex or didn't feel attached to him or her for creating the life that you want, then it wouldn't really matter if you had contact. And thinking about him or her would be kind of like boring to the brain. It takes it away. When we have zero desire for and zero attachment to our ex, all the breakup symptoms go away. And desire and attachment can be changed. Okay, this is something that is malleable. And so we can reduce desire and attachment, we can increase desire and attachment, and it's all based on the way that we think. Now, inside of the Get Over Your Ex program, we use what I call the RDA process, which is, way more than just creating lists about how he is not desirable. I hear this kind of a lot. Some of you might reach out to me and you're like, I've tried the desire and attachment thing. And I'm like, but you haven't, because I don't teach the RDA process outside of my program. I teach you components of it. Absolutely. But there is a micro process and a macro process when it comes to the RDA process and truly learning how to strategically and intentionally reduce desire and attachment without it taking time. So, for example, I had a client getting over an affair partner so that she could save her marriage. And she had already created the list of why her affair partner was undesirable and why her husband was a better match for her. But still, she couldn't stop daydreaming about the affair partner, and she couldn't stop wishing that the affair partner would reach out. And she spent 5 days with the RDA process inside of the Get Over Your Ex program, and she reduced her desire and attachment by half. And then after we started coaching together inside of the Get Over Your Ex program, within 8 weeks, she had zero desire and attachment to the affair partner and wasn't thinking about him every day. And by the end of the 12 weeks together, her and her husband were back to where they used to be and saved their marriage. This is important work. We're saving marriages sometimes here, okay? So the RDA process works, but it has to be done correctly. It is a skill set you learn, you implement, you get feedback on, and you implement again. I say all of this because perhaps you've been someone who's been hung up on their ex for years. I love you. I used to be you. I get it. And maybe you've listened to the podcast even for years, and at this point, you're still not over your ex. I want you to know that I see you, I love you, and there's nothing wrong with you. The duration of your relationship does not determine how long it should take for you to get over them. And the duration it's been since the breakup or divorce doesn't mean you're still so far from getting over him or her. And you cannot use your past as an indicator for what you're going to create in your future. So just because it might have been 2 years since your breakup doesn't mean it's going to take another 2 years for you to get over them. And especially if you choose to do the next 2 weeks differently, right? I want you to think about that. In 2 weeks, if you implement the RDA process, you could cut your desire and attachment by half or more. And you could be completely over your ex in 2 weeks. And I mean, how freeing is that, right? Because that low-grade hum of him in your mind, it does affect more than we realize. For me, it fucked up an entire relationship. I lost out on that opportunity with an amazing man. I didn't get to participate in my life in the way that I wanted to. My friends were sick of hearing about it, and I should have been over it by then. And it was so obvious to them, right? Sometimes it's so obvious to our friends, and we're like, I don't get it. Like, I get it, but I don't get it, And the noise of your ex is like probably keeping you from even meeting someone good, to be quite honest, or the noise of your ex is causing you to maybe overdrink or overeat because you just can't shut off your brain. And the moment I learned to truly be free from my ex was really life-changing. It was the moment where everything clicked. The desire and the attachment was gone. I got to meet the love of my life, live where I used to vacation, enjoy the body that I had created, have my baby boy Teddy, and go after my wildest dreams without influence of my ex being the main driver of those things. And it's such an amazing feeling, my friends, and I want you to have it. I want you to be free. Free. It's such a beautiful place to be. So if you haven't yet, I really hope that you join us for our free training. It's on June 1st. It's called How to Get Over Your Ex in 90 Days Without Going No Contact, Waiting for Time to Heal, or Giving Up on Getting Him Back. It's going to be life-changing, and it will shift your breakup experience no matter how long you've been out of the relationship, and more importantly, even if you've already tried everything. So join us at dorothyabjohnson.com/overmyex. I'll also link it in the show notes. All right. I love you, my brave hearts. so much. I love you so much. And I am here for you. I want this for you. And you can do this, okay? Have a great week, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.